So hi, good evening, everybody. It's Friday night again. Good Friday, everyone. And as promised, at 8:30, we are going live, and it's exactly 8:30 in the evening right now. And this is actually the first Friday of June. And coincidentally, this is also the first Friday of the lifting of circuit breaker here in Singapore. So it's just going to be very interesting. So to those who have just tuned in, my name is Teresa. Can't hear though. And I think we are live soon. Okay. So hi, good evening, everybody. It's Friday night again. Good Friday, everyone. And as promised, at 8:30, we are going live, and it's exactly 8:30 in the evening right now. And this is actually the first Friday of June. And coincidentally, this is also the first Friday of the lifting of circuit breaker here in Singapore. So it's just going to be very interesting. So to those who have just tuned in, my name is Teresa. If you're not familiar with this page, we are Financial Fridays, and my team and I run Financial Fridays. Let me just fix my camera here. Normally we do this as a seminar. We believe in empowering lives globally. So we put up this Financial Fridays page. And starting off the circuit breaker, I decided to put up a live conversation here on Financial Fridays, talking about topics about finance, about career, and about life decision. Okay, not the getting married life decision. Okay, I'm not the authority to that. You just tune in and you got invited by your friends, or somebody have shared a watch party tonight. I just want to encourage you to like our page so that you will be notified every time we go live. Okay, so today is actually an interview time. Okay, the past Fridays I've been talking about different topics, like how to prepare for investment. How do you know if you're ready? Last week I talked about what are the different investment styles and strategies, and today we're going to talk about something that a lot of you can, can relate to. And as if you do not know, I am not originally from Singapore. I think that should be obvious right now. And I'm originally from the Philippines, and I came here in Singapore about 19 years ago, and run initially worked as a lecturer teaching information technology. I'm just trying to check whether I'm really in, because I'm looking at my page. I couldn't see a video. We are? Okay. So, yeah, I need to see that page and that video so that I can see if there are comments flying in. Okay? Let me just reopen my page then. We are, huh? Okay. All right. Oh yeah, I can see now. I can see myself. All right. Okay. So to those who just tune in, hi Ed. And we are live today. And like what I mentioned, yeah, obviously I'm not originally from Singapore. I came here about 19 years ago. And I started working as a lecturer in information technology and entrepreneurship. And then after that, after 7 years, I shifted to become self-employed, and I am running a career in financial advisory. And currently, I'm also running a team of financial advisors. So it's been a journey. It's been an interesting journey, and over that years, of course, I have learned a lot of things. I need to learn and unlearn things. There are habits that I have brought in here that are no longer useful, that I have, learned to learn learn to relearn and unlearn things. So tonight it is going to be interesting because it's not gonna be coming from my own opinion. I mean, some of you may be tired of my opinion because you see me here every Friday, but tonight I'm going to interview somebody that I am very, very proud of as a friend, and somebody who have come to know him when he just started here in Singapore. And I listened to one of his podcast interview. And if you'd like to know what that podcast interview, I can share this. I can share that interview in this page, or I can PM you about it. I was listening to his podcast interview to share wisdom to foreign professionals, Filipino foreign professionals specifically, who are all over the world. And I was very impressed by that interview. And I thought this can help. Uh, this can help a lot of people who are tuning in here in Financial Friday. So um, I think it will be whatever nuggets of wisdom you'll get tonight, or if you have any questions or you have some conversations, don't forget to write it down, or you click the like button if you are actually online and you are with us right now. I just want to start now because we are going to end by 9 o'clock. Okay, so as promised. And if you miss this conversation, go. Come back, and always you can always see the replay of this. Okay, but it will be good if you will be online with us. Okay, anyway, this guy, um I met this guy 6 years ago, and he was a young professional. Well, he's still young right now because it was just 6 years ago. Okay, he was a young professional, single, very much single that time when I met him, and fresh off the boat. Not really fresh off the boat. They call it in the states fresh off the boat, fresh from the airplane, from the Philippines, and he was looking for some investment advice. That was the reason why we met. And when I met him, he was sort of like a junior uh, consultant in an IT industry. Okay, in one of the banks here in Singapore. Okay, currently right now he has went up, rose up to his position. He's currently a project manager in a multinational bank, and he's now married, very much happily married, and soon to be a father of a baby boy. And I invited him tonight to share his journey as an overseas Filipino worker. We call this OFW, and here in Singapore, it is considered as foreign professional here in Singapore. And I hope that you learn, and you can relate and learn something from him. So without further ado, I just like to welcome Mr. Ed Martin Siang Yo. Yay! Okay. So Zoom has this clap thing. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna come out on my screen. Okay, it's not coming out. Okay, anyway, um, I am going to unmute you now, Ed, so that you can be heard and you can be seen by the viewer. So unmute you. Okay, say something, Ed. Hi, Ed. Good
Hi,
evening.
Ate Tere. Good evening, and good evening to everyone listening to this cast.
Okay, Ed, you don't need to call me ate on screen because it's just
Okay.
I don't want them to know that I am younger than you.
Hi,
Okay,
Tere.
if you do not know, ate is a Filipino term for tete, or older sister. See, the word older is even not there. Okay, anyway, you can call me. Yes, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So for those
Hi,
of you who
Tere.
do not know, Ate Terra means big sister. I'm not so big, but I am a big sister in the spirit. Okay. So Ed, I invited you here because I know a lot of people can relate to your journey. And a lot of
hmm
Filipinos, a lot of foreign professionals, not just Filipinos, we have Indonesian in our midst, we have even people in the States watching this. We have
hmm
people from Canada also watching this. And even the
Wow.
people in the Philippines are watching this. So I invited you to share your learning, okay? Because unlike me, I've been here for like forever. Okay, so it's almost like localized, Singaporeanized, in a way. So it's kind of hard to remember Now of course I still remember how it started, but you are fairly like in the middle ground. You're not very
Mm-hmm.
new, but you're not yet very old here in the country. Okay, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
you're not very old. I met you when you were in your 20s, and now I will not reveal your age, but you are now in a more mature age and a more mature journey, and now you are married and you will be a father. So there are a lot of mindset change, and I believe that even working for this nation have, working outside your comfort zone, which was the Philippines, have changed you a
Mm-hmm.
lot. So I think we're going to start with that. Ed, would
Mm-hmm.
you describe to me your first year as a foreign professional here in Singapore?
Um, Coming here, going to Singapore wasn't exactly a long-term decision, or it
Right.
wasn't really a very planned event that I wanted to do. There was this one time in January of 2014 that a friend, Jelly Loco and Chris Katabay, they called me and said there's an job opportunity in Singapore if I would be interested. And in less than 4 weeks, I was sitting in an international flight for the very first time in my life.
First time.
I
Wow.
never left. I never left Luzon for the first 29 years of my life,
Awesome. Okay.
and that kind of just snowballed into this 6 year journey that I have now. The first year that I was here, I had to adjust to the food, I had to adjust to the culture, I had to adjust to the way of living. But in truth, I didn't really have any long term plans. I
Mm,
was I came to find out that I was one of the typical OFWs who had a short term vision of why I was here. I'm here to earn money. I'm here for the first 2 to 3 years, and as long as I have a work permit, life just goes on. But in within that first year, especially when I met you, when I met the Arcelia family, when I had this beautiful Every Nation community,
mm,
we I came into this realization that goals change, it evolves, and
that's true.
I couldn't even imagine in that year that I'd be married now,
Hmm.
that I'd have a baby on the way, I'd have certain financial accomplishments along the line, and most importantly, I was able to support my family.
Yeah,
It was the first year was a huge transformation for me.
a huge change, right? Because the difference
Yes,
with your income from the Philippines to your income here in Singapore, the disparity is huge, I suppose. Of course, you know, the
very.
change
Mhm.
rate and all that, and that's actually quite typical. A lot of especially when you start young, there's not much long-term goals and long-term plans. Okay, but I just want to ask you, I'm pretty sure there is a bit of that. What were your plans, your initial plans when you got here that you do not hold now? What were like your game
Oh,
plan? Well, it can even be
wow.
a game plan that you don't consider a good game plan now, or it can be a game plan that is really a solid game plan. What was your plan initially? That right now, on hindsight, like, oh, that's not what I am now.
In hindsight, it wasn't really a plan.
Right.
The When I came here, the prime objective was just to earn money, earn as much as I could, buy condos, pay off the family debt, send the kids to school. Um, the plan was just actually how to spend the money that I was earning here. That
Oh,
was pretty much it. That was the that was the ultimate plan. How to spend the money that I will be earning here in Singapore, and it was a horrible plan. The it I almost fell into that pit, and
mm.
if I didn't recover, if I didn't realize that I had to change, I don't really think that I'd be in the current financial situation that I'm in right now, and I wouldn't be able to accomplish the things that I have done and I have achieved right now.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so no game plan, in other words, is just to really spend the money. So you have an increase of income, and
Hmm.
basically your game plan is how to actually spend this. How to
Yeah.
give more if you're giving to your family, how to
Yep.
spend more if you're spending for yourself, how to buy more. Can I say that, Ed? How to buy more if you're buying stuff.
Yeah,
That's it.
I deserve it. I deserve the MacBook. I deserve the Air Jordans. I deserve the car that I don't even drive because it's in the Philippines. I
Oh,
made a
wow.
lot of crucial choices, and I even took away the choice for certain members of my family to be responsible for their own choices. I tried to be the hero by sending my family, certain nieces and nephews to school.
Oh,
I
wow.
tried to solve everybody's problem. Oh, I had this much money. I could do anything I want now. But, after even within that year, even in the year of 2014, it just snowballed into huge problems. And
Oh,
I was kind of glad that in the program and in the course of meeting you and realizing the the end point of what should be financial freedom for me and for my future family that I haven't even met then. I'm just so thankful that I can have this opportunity to testify that having a structured financial plan, even if it's
mm,
not in the beginning, because as early as now, I could tell everyone and to you at that you were absolutely right. Goals change,
yeah,
priorities change. The
that's
things that you couldn't do in the Philippines, the things that you couldn't do with the limited opportunities that you had before, suddenly you have this whole big world in that you're exposed to, and now that you have this earning capacity, you suddenly have your mind just gets thrown into this so many choices and so many chances, and that if you didn't make the right choice, even if you didn't have the right discipline, you will just like some foreign professionals that we know that you've interacted with. I would have ended up going home broke, no
yep,
money, no savings, with
definitely.
nothing to my name and no job.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so from that, I don't have any game plan. I have an increase of income, an increase of salary, and my initial game plan, ate, that's what you were telling me earlier, is to spend. How do you were giving to your family, how do I give more? Because that's a tendency, right? How do you give more? Which is nothing is virtually wrong if you can give more, you know, but how to like, but without a plan, it will not actually work best for you. Okay. So how to give more, how to spend more, how to buy more. Okay. So
Yep.
from that, you realize that, oh, things change. What has changed? Ed? What changed?
Well, now number one is that the way that I look at the money that I earn.
Uh-huh.
It hit me that by just throwing it away, by just giving the money away into things that are not directed to a future plan, that are not intended for something in my future or for my future family's future, I was just not only was I wasting my money, but I was not respecting the opportunity that was given to me here in Singapore. An opportunity that I didn't really run after. It just one day came to me, and it in these blessings that came along the way. But the way that I looked at my money, the way that I managed my finances, and the way that I looked at helping my family,
Okay.
the the biggest learning that I had, or the biggest change, and I'm pretty sure that there will be people who will disagree with this.
Hmm.
Um, the biggest learning in the past 6 years is learning how to say no.
Yep.
For me, that was it. I mean, the standard structure of your savings, like the 20% on savings, 20% on investment, 10% on, and the rest you go to your costs, go to your expenses. That standard structure paved the initial way for it paved my way to start treating my money properly, and then
That's
go
right.
looking at how to protect myself through investments and through insurance policies. my family, my even my extended family, and then ultimately on associating my associating my how do we call this? Associating my the physical the material gifts that we have, specifically my money.
Mm,
How do I suddenly involve that in my relationship to the God that I believe in?
okay. Yeah.
So
That's
so
good.
saying no to the things that are not saying no to the things that are not essential, and tithing are the
That
two
is
most
true.
important two biggest changes that have happened in the past 6 years.
That's true. And I remember when Ed was, yeah, very new here and very young. Okay, young, being young is not an excuse anyway, but very new here, and he was asking me about tithing. Okay, and there was a huge conversation. I would say a passionate conversation. Is that right, Ed? In other words, it's kind of like an argument. Okay, about tithing, and I'm glad you managed to really get into that. And I was so happy listening to you the other day on and telling somebody about that you have your 10% goes into your tithing, 20% goes into your savings, 20% goes to your investment, and the rest will go to your expenses. This is your game plan. Can you imagine that, Ed? From
Hmm.
the beginning, when you started here, no game plan. The game plan was to spend,
Nothing.
spend, 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 spend. Now this time around, that brought a lot of frustration, because eventually it will bring a lot of frustrations. Okay, we are not going to go
Yep.
into the detail of those frustrations because I'm pretty sure those are a lot of frustrations. But then later on you realize, okay, some of these wisdom are real and true and will be helpful to me. But I'm just going to get into this tithing first, because we had this discussion and you said, how did you get yourself to start tithing?
I tested it.
Uh-huh.
I will never forget what you and Ivan and Pastor Josh told me about tithing. That this is the one commandment. You're all smiles because it's one of the most powerful things
Yeah,
you've ever
speaking of
taught me.
Ivan, Ivan is here. Hi, Ivan.
Hey, boss. Okay, you three taught me that this is one of the only few things that God actually told in the story of the Bible. He
Mm,
even encouraged to test them on tithing, and go ahead, tithe 10%, bring it to the storehouse, and watch how He will bring so many blessings to you over. I forgot the phrase in the Bible, but pretty much it's so He will bring you so much by just offering something so little.
right.
And it's not like in 2014 when I met you. That wasn't really the first time for me to hear about tithing.
Mm,
I've heard of it before, and what I came to realize when I actually started doing it was not only did I test it and prove that in such a very short span, my career and my finances were accelerated in such an immeasurable and
wow,
indescribable way.
amazing.
I came to realize that on the months that I tithe, I actually am able to manage my finances better. Having full recognition of what goes away, that small 10%, the remaining 90%, I am more careful about where each dollar goes. And putting it to the test, that was, I didn't even formally start tithing in 2014. I started it in 2015. That
Mm,
was when I really
consistently.
had I felt myself dragging my feet when the money was still in my hand. But when the moment I put it in in the collection tray, I suddenly it's so easy. It feels so light.
That's
But
right.
I just found it interesting that it's going to be an ongoing battle, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because every time that you hold that money, I end up having that temptation that, oh, I could have just used this for half a MacBook or for a down payment for a car in the Philippines or for the tuition fee for my future kid or I don't know, for a nice dinner at a fancy restaurant. But at the end of the day, doing that habit, making it a habit and realizing that I also have some practical benefits in doing it.
That's true.
That's what that made the huge change.
Okay. And yeah, the one that you're saying that you test it, and that is the only verse in the Bible when God said, "Test me in this, see if I will not open the floodgates of heaven," and
Yep.
all that frustration, and from being an unbeliever of tithing, and that and I think mixed with overtime frustrations about the budgeting, frustrations about the spending, frustrations about here and there demand, and you
Mm,
couldn't say no to those demands. Earlier you were telling me, yeah, it was just very hard to say no to those things, both demands from the family and also your own personal demand of yourself. Those
yeah.
I deserve it kind to finally deciding to go and type. And by the way, I have to tell you, uh, testing it is the start, and even testing it require it is faith. It is a faith move, and you know how God,
Mm,
what God blesses, and what God is pleased on. God is pleased by faith, so
mm,
to those of you who are um asking whether this is really going to be helpful to your finance, especially to those who believe in God, who've heard about tithing, I highly encourage you. And Ed is not just the only person I know that have been blessed about giving into the Lord, giving into the 10%. And by the way, tithing is your partnership with God. But in this partnership, you have more cut. Can you imagine that? Who else can partner with you by just taking 10% of the income and blessing that you have? And I think that is already, God has already positioned you in the winning position by just tithing. I think that's one big thing that opened up for you. And when you tithe, do you find that you are more clear in your budgeting? You are more intentional in the way you spend, or keep your money?
yes. The human condition of think of in my head, the human condition of thinking, okay, I'm now left with 90% of my total money. What do I do now? Okay, I'm going to be more careful. This is the money that goes to savings. This is the money that goes to this. Oh, we can forego about buying that brand new shoes. I don't really need it anyway. Suddenly, you make these choices, and you suddenly are more conscious about what could be essential for you
Right.
to spend, and
Yeah.
what is the non-essential for you that
Oh,
you can just maybe you can just do it another day.
yeah, those are two words that are very popular right now: essential and
And
non-essential.
non-essential.
That's right. And in other words, it made you prioritize correctly. That made you wiser. When
Yes.
you know that you are in partnership, you become a better steward.
Yep.
Certainly it doesn't happen overnight, but it does
Hmm.
happen over time because discipline takes time. And when you started to put that discipline in you, there are things that you are now starting to prioritize. You can now easily identify the essentials from non-essentials, right?
Yeah.
You don't even need the government, to tell you which is essentials and non-essentials, right?
Yeah.
You don't even need that. You lock down this one has to be closed, like it's like what's happening right now. But after those things, and once you got clearer in your priority, what are the things that you have done, well, systematically in a structured way? What are the things that you have prioritized in terms of your planning your finances? What have opened up?
Um, okay. Well, the as a foreign worker, as a foreign professional, there is always that degree of uncertainty, especially for someone like me who's working on a work visa here in Singapore. And as much as I can, as much as I, as long as I could stay here, as long as I have a career, the objective then is to get to put myself in a position that even if this goes away, even if I get to be cool, suddenly one of these days I'll end up going home. I
Mm,
will not end up in a situation where I have to um, I will be back to poverty.
mm,
And that key, that itself, that actual key of preparing myself in the form of financial instruments not just the cash savings, but on investments in bonds, in trusts, the things that for the watchers, just talk to Tere about those.
The things
I'm not
that
gonna enumerate them
the
here.
things that we do. Okay. Anyway, so
Uh,
so those things you have started to look into financial instruments. Of course, again,
yes.
not everything is overnight. In fact, when I first
Hmm.
met Ed, Ed was just interested to talk about investments. Okay.
Yes.
Then I started
Hmm.
asking about the savings, the emergency funds, and making sure that
And
he's
nothing.
protected and all these things. And then with all this nothing, 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 I started getting into, are you trading? you know, just, and the rest goes on. But the thing is, right after things are clearer and things are more prioritized well, you started
Hmm.
into the number one will be that protection, right?
Yes.
Okay, protection. So that would mean insurance,
Hmm.
and coming from where you come from, I'm pretty sure you do not have a good impression of insurance. Is that right,
Um,
Ed?
uh, the first thing that we would think of would be, oh, you're just after our money. You don't care about if
ah,
and what's gonna happen. You just want to have your commission. That's
mm,
what people would just think. But looking at how progressed nations like Singapore,
mm,
insurance is an absolute.
that's
And
right.
for in the Philippines, we have a very, very tiny portion of the country that's actually insured. The change of mindset and the realization that this is words from that I learned from you. I'm just most of the time I'm
Gotta
just
be careful.
parroting
Ah.
you,
You
Tere.
have to say it in verbatim. Ah. You don't.
Uh,
You said it.
the verbatim is,
Go
when you
ahead.
get an insurance policy, this is not a gift for yourself. This is a gift for your loved ones. You-
Did I say that?
Yes, and it's actually
That's true.
true.
That's true.
So the
That's
life
true.
policy, getting a life policy, knowing in comfort that I could sleep at night, knowing that no matter what happens, my family will not be out on the street begging. That
That's
is
right.
one of the greatest comforts that I've ever had ever since coming here in Singapore and learning more about financial freedom for you.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you do not know, Ed was very single when I met him. He was very young that time, but he was already a breadwinner of his family. He was looking after his mom, nieces and nephew, and
Hmm.
siblings. Correct. So it
Yeah.
is really very important to make sure, especially if you have a dependent. Even if you
Yep.
do not have, of course, you have to take care of yourself, and you don't want to be a burden. But if you
Yep.
have a dependent, that is really another level of responsibility, and certainly it's a no-brainer. Protecting yourself and having an instrument that will preserve your wealth, it
Hmm.
is a no-brainer. And I'm glad that you got that wisdom, and of course eventually the growth happens, and not
Yes.
just
Yes.
that, the
Amen.
growth happens on his income, promotion upon promotion. Okay, I'd say I am not responsible to that promotion. It is really the act of faith. Okay, it is really the act of faith, that you have put in, because when God says, test me in this, and I'm and financial instruments like growth growing
Mm.
your investments, and uh, are there mindset that you have started to adapt at that time, when you started going from one priority to another, you know of course, I'm pretty sure in the beginning it sounded like, all these things are costs. you know these are
Mm.
these are things. How is it possible? I can't even save so much, or at the end of the month there is almost nothing left. How is it possible that you manage um, to do that in the end? Okay, so what are the mindset that you have adopted that changed that?
The mindset. Uh, well, the first one, like I mentioned before, it's this is all temporal. This
Mm-hmm.
can be taken away anytime soon. It anytime anything could happen. I could be here for the next 10 more years. I could be here for the next 10 minutes.
That's right.
That temporality, that volatility, prompted me to know that even if my life and even if my career here in Singapore is only temporary, I need to make certain decisions that will have long term impact.
That's right.
And number two, the mentality of helping, the definition of helping, the people that are asking for material support, are asking for your advice. I came to realize that it's not just simply giving them what they want, because
Mm,
sometimes what they want isn't exactly what they need.
mm,
And again, it bounces back to saying no. But in saying no, I think you get to see the real people who love you. In
that's
saying no, you get to see the people who truly understand, or who are just simply asking you to provide whatever they're
mm,
asking at that point in time.
mm,
And number three is um, focusing on my essentials,
mm,
focusing on what I have now, the things that I never really dreamed about when we had that conversation in 2014 in that small office of yours before. Now it's really really big, but but in
no office.
the thing the
No
things
office.
that I have, the things that that I have now, like
Mm.
I have a loving wife, I have a baby on the way, I have
Yay.
I have a career that, for all it's worth, I'm still very thankful about. Trying to preserve and making plans for these things that will help me, pursue financial freedom
That's right.
and and ensuring that my family will have the safety and the comfort of them getting their essentials, whether I'm here or I'm not.
Mm,
So I guess that's pretty much it. Those were the three key pillars that transformed me in the 6 years, that
mm.
made me make my key choices. And and it
Sure.
never and it's always, and it's not just me, it's the wonderful network and the support that I get from people like you, from people like Ivan, the people here in Singapore, who in my community, in the greater community, that have been nothing but supportive. And I'll end up burning 2 hours just mentioning all of their names. You know who you guys are, and I'm so thankful for everything.
Yeah, and they are flashing hearts and likes right now. Okay. Someone even
Yay,
called you Lodi. What is
Lodi,
Lodi?
idol.
Idol. Idol. Okay. Oh, Lodi. Oh, but okay, the opposite. Okay, okay, okay. Idol. Okay. So, I just want to qualify this because you've been talking about one last before we end about the saying no. Okay, and
Hmm.
what Ed meant by saying no is saying no to the non-essentials. Okay, because
Yes.
when
Yes.
clarity comes in, when you are more you are more honest with your finances, you will be honest of which to identify which is important and not important, essential and non-essential. And in other words, the needs and want. But needs and want, sometimes some people, even the want becomes a need. Okay, so you say essential and non-essential. Okay, so when you are clear with that, you should be able to know when to say no to that. Okay, and I
Mhm.
guess that is something that is very much relatable. When I heard Ed sharing this, I believe that a lot of people will be able to relate to that and having the strength to say no, because by saying no to your loved ones, by saying no to your family, saying no to the non-essentials, huh? Ed, tell me
Mm.
what um what was your mindset last time when you keep on saying yes, and what did you realize? Sorry, I'm not gonna ask about the mindset, but what did you realize the time that you keep on saying yes? What was the impact?
I was building dependency, an
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary dependency on myself. And I was depriving them of the opportunities, the learnings, and the
That's right.
learnings and the insights that they could have gotten by owning those responsibilities. It wasn't, I could argue that technically it was my responsibility, but in truth, saying no to the minor stuff, like a kid could a kid could survive without brand new shoes on the start of school, or I don't really need to pay for the summer sports clinic classes during summer, or I don't really need to pay for that brand new dress it's because of her. It's because it's my nephew's birthday or niece's birthday. Filtering those
Yep.
non-essentials,
Yep.
I could have saved a lot of money if I did,
Yeah.
and I could have used it for something else,
Yeah.
much something more valuable.
And can you say that you are not helping them by keeping on saying yes?
No, I
Yep.
did not. That was a very painful and long-standing learning or a lesson for me because I if I kept saying yes, I not only did they build dependency, they now had this entitlement mentality that, oh,
That's right.
you I deserve to be supported. You are obligated to help me every time that I need it.
Yeah.
And I built monsters along the way. I built parasitism along the way, well,
Hmm.
knowing to the fact that they could have, uh, they admitted it themselves. I actually spoke to them about it, and I had my heart-to-heart discussions with them, and they admitted it that yeah, we could have done without it. I could have done it
Yeah.
myself,
And it's not important. Yeah. They
and
could
it's
have
not
been
essential.
creative. They could have been much more, simple and humble, because when you're not making money, you don't deserve it. Actually, when
Yeah,
you are a student, and you're young,
yeah,
it's not like you are deserving of a lot of things, and whatever comes there, you need to be grateful. And I think
yeah.
also one of the things, exercise on saying no to others is also an exercise to saying no to yourself as well, to say no to that desire to be needed, the desire to say, I'm the Messiah. You
Oh
need
yeah,
yeah.
it feels good, doesn't it, Tere? It really
Uh-huh.
really feels good that, oh, these people are so thankful. Oh, Ed, you're so great. You're awesome. You're the king of the world. But at the end of the day, they're only saying that because you provided.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, that's not really the objective that I wanted to for the opportunities and the blessings that I'm getting here in Singapore.
Mm, mm. And you don't really need that to know that you are, a good person. You don't really need that. You don't really need to say yes just to prove that you love, to say yes all the time just to prove that you love them, you know.
Yeah.
And I think there is a great balance now. And now that
Hmm.
you are preparing to be a father, I believe that you'll be able to carry this wisdom. My hope and prayer is that you even impart this. Okay, I think if there's anything on the mindset, it's really about Ed carrying that growth mindset in him. The growth mindset. I don't know if you've heard about that. There's this fixed mindset when a person is think the person's mind is unchangeable. That this is
Hmm.
me, what to do, this is me, and that is an excuse, by the way. Where the growth mindset believes that, and that is the truth, which is the fact, our minds and our brains are malleable. We can learn. No matter how old we are, we can pick up new things. We can learn new things. We can learn new pathway of thinking. And that is, I think it's very important to be, yeah, teachable. I think the teachability at that time, when you had, even argue about certain things, but then later on consider, wait, I think there's a wisdom to this. Why don't I try? Why
Yeah.
don't I test that out? And you see that, you've seen that for yourself, that this is actually working for you. And my hope
Yeah.
is that you continue to impart those wisdom that you've learned, and you will be learning. As you become a father, as you become a father of many children.
Wow.
That was what's one, right? Okay, a father of a child, a father of a son this August, and I believe that as you get more wisdom, um,
Hmm.
it's all about stewardship. As you steward more will be given. As you have
Hmm.
more faith to believe, more will be given. As you develop yourself to become better is coming your way. I believe that. And thank you so much, Ed, for sharing your wisdom. Just want to ask, to those that are online right now, and a lot of you are know Ed, are there any questions you have? Okay, I'm looking up because my camera, my phone is up there. Any other parting words, Ed? 1 minute.
Yeah.
We are going.
Okay. So on top of the things that you said, that being teachable, I just want to highlight the fact that the things that I've gone through, and the learnings that I've had in this 6 years of being a foreign professional here in Singapore. It's not because I got it right the first time. And Tere could attest to the fact that she was like a broken record by repeating so many things to myself. And people in my support group have been um, patient and repeatedly trying to understand that it's not easy to change. And I would like to just say to, well, to the listeners out there, that when you have these bits of wisdom and you are encouraged to learn from them and you fail, it's okay. You just try it again, and then again, and then again. The learnings that I got, it did not just take me 30 seconds to fully adapt to it. It actually took me more than 2 years to fully adjust to the lifestyle and the choices and the financial management that would fit my own definition of financial freedom. So I guess it's okay. The final parting words is it's okay if you fail. Please do not give up. Just keep on trying again. If you do not meet your targets, at least that you know that you are better than yesterday. That's it.
All
Thank you so
right.
much
Thank
for your
you
time.
so much. Thank you so much, Ed, for those wisdom. Thank you for sharing, unselfishly sharing. And I believe that people learn from this. If you got something, you can give your clap emoticons there, or your like, or your heart. Thank you so much for tuning in. And with that, we are going to end this session right now. And thank you, Ed, for your time. All the best to you. God bless you and your family and your future children to come. And thank
Wow.
you so much for for imparting your faith. And to those who are listening, thank you for tuning in today, tonight. And I hope that you could continue to carry that faith, that hope, and that love in your heart every day. Things are just going to get better. Continue to find the path of wisdom. So just thank you for your time. And this has been Tere, and good evening, everybody. Bye.
Bye bye, Christy. I love you. Bye bye.
Hi, Christy.